So when MJF is really in the zone and really on his A game when it comes to his mic work, there are very few people in the whole wrestling industry that could really touch him. And after what went down on tonight's episode of Dynamite, I could truly say that his feud between him and Hangman Page has really heated up a few extra degrees. Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Kevin Zwicker from Fast Count coming at you. Before I get into this video, please remember to like and subscribe, and oh yeah, like and subscribe. So the way that Dynamite kicked off tonight is we had MJF pacing back and forth outside of the venue, and he repeats the line that Hangman did nothing wrong, and he says that that's what you people say, but I disagree. And then he goes on to start talking about how what Hangman has really been doing is been poking and prodding the devil. And then he brings up the beatdown that he laid upon Christopher Daniels last week that included that embarrassing botch of them showing Christopher Daniels blading on camera. And he says, what happened to Christopher Daniels will be light work compared to what I'm going to do to you at Revolution. And then he goes on to talk about how he usually likes to play with his food, but Hangman has him feeling really hungry and he wants to take a bite out of his baby face. And he says, you know, you're calling me out. I'm out here in Sacramento. That's where the show took place. And then he says he has a point to prove, and the point is to prove to his mark fan base. And then he brings up the buckshot. He says, you know, you talk about buckshots and all of this. Well, I have a bullet with your name on it, and it says Hangman on it. And he keeps going on this, frantic, rant where he keeps repeating Hangman, 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 right? And then we cut. And then later on in the show, we have Renee Paquette out there interviewing MJF. And then he goes on to go and call Hangman and says, I'm out here. Where you at? You're just a coward, all these things. And you see this car in the background with the horns on it. Look, comes out of the car. It is JBL. Just kidding. It is Hangman Adam Page. And you see MJF goes out running. And you see, and right there by gorilla position, what appears to be MJF gets the shit kicked out of him by Hangman, and then he throws him outside on the ramp, and it's revealed that it wasn't MJF. It was a guy in disguise. MJF comes behind him like the dastardly heel that he is. He starts laying the beats on Hangman Adam Page, but eventually Hangman's able to get his balance back. And then you see Hangman Page go for a buckshot lariat in the ring, but he gets low blowed by MJF. That's probably the greatest counter I've ever seen to a buckshot lariat. I don't know why nobody has thought about doing that before, reversing a buckshot and countering it with a low blow. But we have MJF who is able to do that. Then he continues to lay a case of the beats on Hangman Adam Page, and he takes off his shirt, and it reveals to say MJF did nothing wrong. And right when he's laying the beats on Hangman Adam Page, Hangman's right there in the middle of the ring, not moving. And you see MJF pull out a can of gasoline, and he starts pouring it all over Hangman Adam Page. Now, if you've watched AEW for a while, you know that Hangman Page is no stranger to gasoline. He also let Swerve's house burn to the ground. So he's a pyromaniac, just like MJF apparently is as well. And right before MJF pulled out the lighter to where he was going to set him on fire, turn him into a crisp kebab, a hangman style kebab. We had all the referees, interfere, stop it. And MJF is carried away, frantically screaming, I'm trying to prove a point. Let me prove my point. Let me prove my point. Now, in wrestling, there's a lot of violent stuff that goes on. We just saw at Survivor Series this past weekend an extremely violent match between Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. But when it comes to AEW, they are probably the closest thing to a mainstream like CZW or GCW, minus the fluorescent lights. They usually don't go with the light tubes. That's a bit too violent in my opinion. But we deal with a lot of violence, right? You knew that at some point when you got two guys like Hangman Adam Page and MJF that we were going to get some form of extreme violence. And the fact that we're getting this so early in the build is exciting. I feel as if now that we have gotten to the point to where we're threatening to burn people alive on TV, that we are setting ourselves up for multiple matches in this series. They have a blood feud going on with Swerve Strickland and Ricochet. So I feel like maybe having two feuds that are extremely personal and going to lead to violent stipulations is a bit overkill. I feel like you can have these personal feuds and these deep, feuds that involve hatred and not go the extremely, gory route. Because I feel like if you got all these different things that involve, blood and gore and all, it really, it kind of dilutes all of it, and it doesn't make everything feel, it makes everything kind of feel, not as special. Because if you're watching all these things involving all these different elements of violence, that it kind of just waters it down and doesn't make it feel as if, it sets it apart from anything else, right? So I think that once we get to Revolution on Sunday, we're going to have Hangman Adam Page win. I think it's going to set MJF further down to this, this, hole of bitterness. That's, for lack of a better terms, because we know that MJF is a guy who is very jealous and very insecure and very, bitter of the fact that Hangman Page is this guy who's doing all these evil things and people are okay with it and they're not okay with MJF doing it. So I feel like we're going to have MJF lose and he's just going to keep spiraling and spiraling, deeper and deeper. And it's going to set up for a rematch for their feud and having a match at Dynasty in April. But let me know what you guys think. What did you think about, Hangman being threatened to be burned alive? Do you think this is going to set up for multiple different matches? Are you excited for their match at Revolution? Are you not excited at all? Guys, I'll be going live immediately following Revolution for a post show, so be there or be square. I will be talking about the show. Just kick it so we can discuss what went down on the show. Guys, remember to like and subscribe. I am Kevin Zwicker. I'm out.